Hey, Dirk here. Happy Monday. So, just a quick update since we have had some developments. Let me share with you what I see in the charts. So, Bitcoin had a nice little rally the last couple days. 26,400 is where we're trading at. And I actually made that video on Friday. I shared my short term trade setup, which was to long Bitcoin. We got an almost perfect entry, and so far it is nicely in profit. So, go watch that video if you haven't yet. That was a really nice setup. So what I want to share with you now is let's start by looking at the 3-day chart. And this is actually pretty significant and potentially really good news for the bulls. So if you've been following the channel for the bear market and for the longest time, really for many months, I've been pointing you towards the 3-day 50 moving average, which is here in blue. This is a 3-day chart, the 50 simple moving average, as the easiest way to define a bear and a bullish trend on a time frame that is not subject to as much noise as the lower time frames, and yet is quicker to show than the higher time frames like the weekly or the monthly. So it's like a perfect combination to find a bear bull indicator. And as long as the price is above the 3-day 50 moving average, you can see we have our bull markets, right? The whole bull market has stayed above. It went below. We got our crash here in May 21. We got above. Nice rally all the way up to almost 70,000. And then when we got below it in 2022, it stayed below it for the whole bear market. This was really a nice indicator. We got back above it here at the beginning of January 2023. And since then, we've been in a bullish trend. Now, my rule that I've created here for this specific indicator is to spot a potential longer term trend change. We need 2 consecutive closes above or below, depending on the direction change, to be able to get confirmation of that potential change. And you can see that in action here very clearly in the bear market. So you can see here, even though it got above it here a little bit, and keep in mind each candle here is 3 days worth of price action. But you can see here, I tried to get above, but it never had 2 consecutive closes above, right? One, it wicked above, got back below, wicked above, got back below, and it continued the downtrend. So there was no confirmation here for the bulls. In a similar way over here, you can see we got 1 close above it, the next one, no consecutive close, and a drop back below. And this was the FTX collapse back in the day. So once we got back above here, we had 2 consecutive closes. The bull market was here. Then you can see here, we dropped back to it, we retested it, but it bounced perfectly from there. And what is interesting to see here now is that we got a bit scary here where we had a first close back below it, but this most recent 3-day candle, it went all the way back up and it closed back above. So far, we do not have confirmation that this is now a bearish trend or a potential bearish trend that could continue a bunch lower, because it was actually just saved in the same way that over here it ended up being saved, and over here for the bears. But now it's for the bulls. So this is an interesting development, as well as the fact that this coincides with this high and this high. So this equal high over here also ended up being support over here. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. You can also say this is very much a falling wedge over here, which is usually also a bullish sign, and it tends more often than not to break to the upside. So if we do see follow through continuation here in the next week or two, I think it's starting to look once again very good for the bulls. Now, there is still a potential scenario over here where we have this 22,000, approximately 22 to 23,000 as line in the sand. That is also the 50-week moving average. So I'm not saying that there isn't a chance that it is going to get there. We could have some sort of crazy news, some FUD, some flash crash, and it just wicks all the way down here and then comes back up. But so far, I do think this is a really good indicator to keep an eye on. This moving average, 3-day 50 moving average, as long as we're above there, as long as it's holding, as long as we don't get 2 consecutive closes back below it, it's still looking good for the bulls potentially. And once this breaks up, I mean, we're looking at probably taking out these highs and then these highs over here. So we're probably looking at 32,000 if we can get a successful breakout over here. So it is looking potentially promising for the bulls. And you can see over here, changing it to a weekly chart, the 50-week moving average in blue here is also the line in the sand. So that's what I'm looking for. 22.5 is what we want to see hold as a worst case scenario. A new weekly close below there is just really bad for the bulls, I think. So maybe we hold. Maybe the bottom is already in for this move. Maybe we still get some trickery where we get a big wick down, maybe test 22.5 and then continue higher. So we'll have to wait and see there. But I do still think this is starting to look good for the bulls potentially here. And so far, the support has been holding. So let's see what this week brings us. But this is an interesting time. There's a lot of FUD. Okay, there's a lot of stuff going on with the SEC that has been suing exchanges. But at the same time, we have BlackRock potentially filing an ETF here for Bitcoin. And I think we have to watch what they do and not what they say, as is always the case. I mean, that is always the case. So let's see what this week brings us. I just wanted to bring you this update. It is looking good for the bulls. If the bulls can hold here, we are looking at a potential breakout and upside continuation over the next couple of weeks. And if that starts to happen, I would say we're probably going to target 32K next, since we fell just shy of it with this high. We hit about 31,000. And this 32,000 high over here, 32,500, I think that will be the next target on a bullish breakout. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. I wish you an awesome week, and I will see you in the next video.